Have you had anyone ask you the same question over and over? Didn't they hear my answer the first time? You may have thought. 3 times Jesus asked Peter the same thing. Peter was restless. "I'm going fishing," he told the other disciples. It had been a while since Jesus had been crucified, and Jesus had appeared to them 2 times since his resurrection. Jesus hadn't mentioned that Peter had denied him 3 times. But Peter was still so embarrassed. He was ashamed of what he had done. He had asked God to forgive him, but he may have thought that Jesus would no longer trust him. How much do the other disciples know about it? Peter may have wondered. Do they know how sorry I am? Some of the other disciples decided to go fishing with Peter. So as the sun was going down, they stepped into Peter's boat. They stayed out all night, but caught nothing. What a waste of a night's work, Peter probably thought. Early in the morning, as the sun was coming up, they returned to shore. As their boat drew closer to shore, they noticed a man standing on the beach. The man called out, "Have you caught any fish?" They called back, "No, not at all." The man called out again, "Throw your nets on the right side of the boat. You'll find some." Perhaps they wanted to please the man, or perhaps they want to try once more. Whatever the reason, they did what the man said. Immediately, their nets were full of fish. They couldn't even haul their nets into the boat. Suddenly, John recognized the man and called out to Peter, "It is the Lord!" Peter was so happy to see Jesus again, and Jesus was waiting for them. The boat was very close to shore, so Peter decided not to wait. He jumped out of the boat and hurried through the water to Jesus. As they reached shore, they found that Jesus had made a fire and he was cooking some of fish for their breakfast. They soon enjoyed the fish and some bread. After breakfast, Jesus turned into Peter. "Peter, do you truly love me more than this?" he asked. Peter immediately answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus looked into Peter's eyes and says quietly, "Feed my lambs, feed my lambs." Again, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you truly love me?" Peter replied, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus replied, "Take care of my sheep." A 3rd time, Jesus asked, "Peter, do you love me?" Peter didn't know what to think. Perhaps Peter wondered if Jesus didn't believe him. Why did Jesus ask him 3 times? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him 3 times. Was it because he had denied Jesus 3 times? With a heavy heart, Peter answered, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said again, "Take care of my sheep." Finally, Jesus said to Peter, "Follow me." Peter then realized that Jesus had forgiven him. Jesus still wanted Peter to follow him. But why did Jesus ask Peter these questions in front of the other disciples? So they would know that Jesus had forgiven Peter. Jesus also wanted to teach Peter some lesson in patience, sympathy, and forgiveness. Peter would need all of that in the future. Peter would lead and take care of many new believers of Jesus during the rest of his life. Jesus also wanted us to know something special. There is only one thing we must do to follow and serve Him, and that is to love Him with all our hearts. And when we really do, we'll want to take care of the others too.